Well, to get started with Azure Machine Learning, we're going to have to provision an Azure Machine Learning workspace. So let's take a look at how to do that. Well, here I am in the Azure portal, and I can use this menu on the left here to go and add different resources. I can see I currently don't have any resources in my Azure subscription, so I'm going to close that blade, and then I'm going to go and add a new resource. Now, the resources are organized into various different categories, and if I happen to know which category I'm looking for, I can go and find it. So I could click on Internet of Things in this case, and then find Machine Learning Workspace. But sometimes things move around in the portal. It might not always be easy to find what you're looking for, so you can always search. So if I search for Azure Machine Learning, and it finds Machine Learning Workspace ready for me to go and create there. So I can select Machine Learning Workspace, I get a little bit of information about what that means, and I can go ahead and click Create. And that's going to give me this blade here where I need to provide the details of the workspace that I'm provisioning. And the first thing it needs is some sort of unique name. So I'm going to call this AML012345. And if I just click away from that, it's going to go and verify. I get a little tick here to verify. That's fine. That's a perfectly valid name. I can go ahead and use that. If you get a little exclamation point there, then you're going to have to choose a different name. It's because the name's illegal or it's already in use. I can specify my Azure subscription. In this case, I've only got the one, so I'm going to use my Microsoft Azure internal consumption subscription. You'll use whatever subscription you have. And then it prompts me to create a resource group. Now, resource groups are a useful way to manage related resources within Azure. If I've got a whole bunch of different resources, it's useful to be able to manage them as a group. So I'm going to create a new resource group, which I'm going to call AML group. And that's going to be used to manage all of my related resources. And I can choose what location I want to provision this workspace in. There are various different options here, so I can pick whichever one is most convenient for me. I'll pick South Central US in this case. And then the other thing I'm going to need is a storage account. And the reason I need a storage account is because my Azure Machine Learning Workspace is going to store things like data sets and notebooks and all the various things that I'm going to create when I work with Azure Machine Learning in some sort of storage in the cloud. So it's going to create an Azure storage account that's associated with my workspace. So I'll take the default name for that, AML012345 storage. That seems like a sensible name. And then I need to choose the pricing tier. I'm just going to choose the standard price and a web service plan. Now the plan is used as a billing mechanism for when I use the web services that are created by the workspace. So it's really just a payment plan for my workspace. If you've got a free trial account, then obviously it will, the payment will come out of the credit that you have as part of that free account. And I need to choose what pricing tier I want to use for my plan. So we'll go and click on this link here. That opens up another blade where there's a choice of different options with various different estimated per daily rate for using those different options. I'm going to use this dev test one, which is, as you can see here, is free, because that will be perfectly fine for everything I need to do in the labs. If I were going to use this in production, I'd have to choose the appropriate plan for the kind of volume of work I think my service is going to do. So once I've chosen all of those, I've now clicked everything that's required in this blade. I can go ahead and click Create. I'm going to click Create. It'll go off and validate all of those settings, and then it will start creating the workspace, and I can see that deployment is in progress. So we'll just give that a few minutes to go and complete. And then when deployment has succeeded, I get a little notification message here to tell me that it has deployed my workspace, and I can click that little icon there to get that notification. And if I go and have a look at the, first of all, look at the resource groups that I have, and I can see it's created this resource group called AML group. And I could either just open that up to see what's in it, or I could click all resources, and I can see all of the resources that have been created. And I have my machine learning workspace, I have the plan that is associated with that workspace, and I have the storage account that will be used by that workspace as well. So all three of those have been created for me. And if I go and take a look at my machine learning workspace, I can get some information about that, get some settings for it, and I can also get some links to the tools that I'm going to work with when I'm wanting to use my workspace.